Hello, this is Stacey. I am making this video for nieces, nephews, siblings, and whoever else may be interested in finding out what is happening with me and how I'm taking care of myself. I have advanced Lyme disease, and I have 2 co-infections that I'm dealing with. And what that involves is I'm currently taking 101 pills a day. Plus, I have supplements that I put into a morning smoothie. And then I have what I put into this IV line, which is 1 antibiotic. And but it's quite a process. My process with the IV line is that Tuesday through Friday, I do it twice a day, morning and evening. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, during the same timing, what I do is I flush the line to keep it fresh, to keep the blood clots from forming. So what I'm going to show you now is basically my central IV line. Initially, it started over on my right side, and in short order, they discovered there was a problem with it. They took that one out and installed this one. And so I'm going to move to help make this a little more clear for you. This is the central IV line. Ken calls it my little angel because this circle here is the head, these are the wings, this is the body, and these are the legs and the feet. So he calls it my little angel. This part is to keep the infections away from the entry point where the line goes into my skin. And this part holds the line to my skin so that it doesn't enter or exit my body. Right here, the single line splits into two different ports. I use the red one for the morning. I use the purple colored one for the evening. And so again, it's 2 different lines that join up right here into one line and goes into here. Now, it's one line when it joins up, but the thing is that it's actually 2 lines inside the one line. It makes it easier when it's under skin. So under here, it goes into my skin, and it travels up along over here, and you might be able to see there's a little bulge here and a little scar from the surgery. But it goes up over the collarbone into the jugular vein. It goes down across underneath or inside my chest cavity and comes down around here and stops right before it goes into my heart. And that way the medicine can get directly to my heart instead of having to go through the digestive system like all the oral medication does. What happens is that I have test-proven damage in my brain, and by taking oral medication, it has to go through the whole digestive system and get processed and absorbed and go through the whole thing finally to make it to my heart. Some of it may get to my brain, but it has to get through the blood-brain barrier first. And so since they know there's Lyme in my brain, they have opted to put in the central IV line. We have opted to put in the central IV line to try to get as much of the antibiotics into my brain. So today, right now, it's the evening, and so I'm going to use the purple line. The first step is to take an alcohol pad and clean the ultrasite. This little white piece here is called the ultrasite. Now, one of the things that you have to watch out for, and there'll be multiple cleanings through this process, is because you don't want to get an infection. If you get an infection, it will most likely be sepsis. Sepsis is either deadly, or you spend at least 2 weeks in the hospital. So, not looking forward to that potential item, so I'm cleaning as much as possible. And then what we have is the saline. The saline is almost like water, and what it does is it goes into the line and clears the line out to prepare it for the antibiotics to go in. Because what will happen is over time, the blood can get sucked back up into the line and potentially form blood clots or just fill the line up. So basically, this is to clear the line to prepare it for the antibiotics. If you look in here, you'll see there's a black plunger down here. There's a huge air bubble on the top, and sometimes there's air bubbles that are sitting at the bottom right by the plunger, but this one isn't, so I'm not going to have to shake it up. So I just twist off the top. To get rid of that big air bubble, I just pull down on the plunger, release that tension. Now you have a huge air bubble. So we don't want any air bubbles because that can be deadly. So I bring up just enough liquid so that it has absolutely no air in the line. I attach it to my purple line, and if you can see this, there's a purple clamp with the purple evening line. So I have to unclamp that, otherwise nothing is going inside. And I pulse this down into my system. Now, very shortly after I start this, it will, in a heartbeat or two later, I can taste it on my tongue actually. It's a very salty, metallic kind of a taste. It's not bad, but it's actually kind of nice to know it's actually working that quickly. So that took care of clearing the line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually attach the antibiotic ball. But first I have to clean. There's a cleaning process in between each step of doing this process. So this is the antibiotic ball. It's almost hard. It's self-pressurized, so you don't have to hang it above your heart like a usual IV bag. And there's a long line that then gets attached to my ultrasite, the white cap thing. There's a little clamp on the line for safety's sake, but it's all self-pressurized in here. There is a clear outer bladder, and then there's a yellow inner bladder. And I'll show you in just a moment what it looks like when it's empty. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this. I've already cleaned the ultrasite, the white cap. So I'm going to go ahead and screw that on. Thankfully, I have no dealings with needles. Even when they do blood draws on for me for every 2 weeks. Now, it used to be every week, but every 2 weeks now, they can draw it from the same areas. No needles in the arms to pull blood. Yay! So, because this line also has a clamp, there's a clamp on my white line here, there's a clamp here. I have to release this clamp as well, otherwise nothing's going to come out. It's supposed to take 30 minutes for this to dispense into my heart, but it usually takes 35, sometimes 40 minutes for it to dispense into my heart. No problem. Basically, a lot of times I'll wear a hoodie. I'll put it in my pocket. I'll just carry it around in my hand. I've done this in vehicles. I've had the the ball dispensing while eating at a restaurant. I just have it off to the side. No one knows what in the world's going on. And so it makes it really handy not having to have it hanging over my head for it to dispense like a normal IV bag. Oh, and no IV pull, thankfully. So let me show you. I have an empty antibiotic ball and the full one. Okay, so this is the full one that I just started. This is what it'll look like once it's completed. If I turn it around, you'll see the difference from the side view as well. You can tell this one is very flat. You can see the white part here, and the yellow bladder on the inside has dispensed all the stuff. So it's about like a finger width of that remains, but there's no medicine left in it. So this is the one that's dispensing right now. I'm not going to complete the process. I'm just going to go ahead and walk you through the next steps. Once this line is completed, I would normally go ahead and take this off. I would do another saline, to push all the medicine down into my heart, because some of it will just be sitting in the line unless something pushes it through. So the saline will push the last remaining antibiotics down into my heart and clear the line. And then there's this item they call heparin. Heparin, as you can tell, has a little bit less. You can see the plunger is here on it rather than down here like on the saline. But heparin is what helps keep the line clear from blood clots. Again, one of the dangers is that blood will travel up when I'm not using and cleaning the line. Blood will climb up one of the lines or both of the lines. And so if it does by chance do that, I can use the heparin will be in the line, the heparin will be in the line and will help to keep the blood from clotting, because blood clots are very, very dangerous. Once I have the heparin in, my job is done. I am done for the evening, except all the pills I have to take. And one of the other lovely antibiotics I have to take is called, it's a co-infection that I have called Babesia. Babesia is a malaria-like disease. It's like malaria, and so it gives me chest pains and rib cage pain, and so the medicine is very interesting because it's like a thick yellow paint, and I have to take 1.5 teaspoons in the morning and in the evening. And what happens is that this thick yellow paint stains anything it touches, and it's very hard to brush off with the toothbrush. And my favorite thing with the kids when they're around, when I'm taking this stuff, is that I'll take my medicine and then I'll stick my tongue out and it's completely yellow. So it's kind of fun sometimes, but thankfully it doesn't taste bad. Some people complain about the taste, but I don't. It tastes okay. So that is the end of what I do on a daily basis. But today is Tuesday. Tuesday is home care day. A nurse comes to visit. And if you see here, you can kind of see this shiny part on the chest that goes around. This white part is at the base of it, and it comes up and around. That is to protect the line. So there is an opening in my skin here. And this is to protect any bacteria, any potential infection to enter that site. And so I can't sweat. I can't allow my skin to get damp, because then I can get an infection. So the nurse comes and she has to take all this stuff off, except the line, obviously. Then she cleans it up real good, and then she reestablishes everything back onto it. It's quite a process, but it's done on Tuesday. By Monday, I am looking forward to the dressing change. So on Tuesday, the nurse comes and I get a new dressing change, and I'm very thankful for it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. If you want to see anything else, please ask me. Next week, what I'm going to try to do with the nurse is to take a snapshot or a short video of what this site actually looks like underneath this. So once this is all removed, she may go ahead and allow me to take a picture of it or a video of it, so that you can actually see what it looks like with the line going into the chest. So again, I love you all, and that's it. Bye-bye.